Live at the moment. There we go. Good afternoon, everybody. I believe we have a few people watching at the moment, and we've got a few questions coming in already, so thank you very much for those. Let me introduce myself. I'm Tom Benson. I'm the Student Activities Manager. We are running these sessions hopefully fortnightly to give societies and committee members the chance to ask us any questions. Obviously, at the in this current time, we're trying to do as much as we can to support societies and what they're doing, and we've seen some absolutely incredible engagement from so many different groups for kind of online, lots of different online activity and that kind of thing. So we're really impressed in what you guys are doing, and we want to try and support you as much as we can to get you to do as much activity as possible. So we've got a few questions coming in. So I'm going to start with those. So the first one from Molly is, what should we be doing now to plan for freshers and term one events? Should we assume that everything will be online for term one? So it's unfortunately, I don't have a full answer. We don't have a full answer for you at the moment. We are looking into a lot of the information that we have coming from the university, from the government, and wider bodies as well, about what the guidance is around meeting up, about events, that kind of thing. So we will be releasing as much as we possibly can when we're able to. We are taking a very, very similar approach to the university at the moment, in that we are running, we're looking to run a blended approach to the beginning of term. So it will be a combination of online and in-person activity. Unfortunately, I can't give you any more information about that at the moment. But we will be, as soon as we possibly can, we'll be releasing guidance for societies on what they can and cannot do. That's going to be based on the government's COVID secure guidelines that they've released very recently, and so we'll be looking at the different ways that could apply to society events and activities, and we'll be looking to create resources and stuff to support societies to deliver whatever activity that they can within those guidelines. Obviously, if you're not able to run events in person, then we'll do what we can to support events digitally and see what other avenues of digital events and activities that we can support through however long this takes, whether it's term one or beyond. I hope that answers your question. Second one, we have an idea for a socially distanced event that could be held in person. What might be our next steps for asking for approval or planning the event? Again, it's going to be a very similar process. We're looking at a very similar process to submitting events as before. So we'll be looking for a submitted risk assessment. That will obviously again be based on the government's COVID secure guidelines. So we'll be looking at how those apply to society events and building those resources so that you're able to make that determination on your own events. It'd be great to find out what other societies are doing now to engage their members, and if they have any ideas, plans for freshers. That's a really good idea. We'll take that on board, and I think if we can, we might run one of these sessions that kind of allows you guys to interact with each other, allows societies to interact with each other, so that you guys can share ideas for how to engage your members, and we'll make sure that we take as much as we can and include that into our resources as we go on. So we have a new question of will we be having Freshers Week? So as I said towards the beginning, we are planning at the moment. We're planning along the guidelines that the university have announced, which will be a blended learning approach. There will be some digital and some in-person activity. There will be a Freshers Week. It may not look like what it has previously for obvious reasons, but we're doing the best that we can to determine where what we can do, what can be delivered under the current guidelines. Obviously, as well, those guidelines might change between now and September. So we're hoping to have as much information as possible, and we're hoping to be able to get as much of that together for societies as soon as we possibly can. Then, as I said before, what we'll be able to do is support societies in assessing their events to make sure that they meet the COVID secure standards that the government have released in order to run an in-person event. And if not, we will do everything that we can to support societies in a digital environment. We've got no new questions at the moment. Hopefully that has answered your questions. Those of you that are still watching, hopefully that has provided some context. Unfortunately, it is as much as we can give you at the moment, I'm afraid. I would hope that we'd be able to give you some more information, but unfortunately we don't have that at the moment. What we will be doing is trying to get that information out as soon as possible. And we'll be releasing training sessions and stuff along those lines with updated information as soon as we possibly can as well. So someone's asked, will we have a new Q&A like this soon? Yes, absolutely. So these Q&As are going to be happening fortnightly, and we'll make sure that we are running these as smoothly as possible, and they're working for you guys. We're also going to have a number of other events that will go alongside these Ask Us Anything sessions, ones that are specifically related to training sessions, the training sessions that we're releasing on a weekly basis, to allow new committee members to engage with the content that they've looked at throughout the sessions. But yeah, these Q&As will be happening fortnightly, every other week, so that we can keep engagement and you guys have an opportunity to come and ask us any questions that you might have. We've got another question, is when will new guidelines be released? As I said, unfortunately, we can't give you an estimate on that at the moment. There's a lot of different factors involved in that, and a lot of different things that will need to happen before we're able to release those guidelines to you. One of which is we need more information from the university about what their next steps are as well, in terms of physical spaces, as well as teaching and other things like that as well. And we're hoping to have as much information. We're hoping to have more information very soon, and we will make sure that we get it out to societies as soon as we're able. So just to let everyone know, within this session, if you're not already aware, we have released three training sessions already. They were released this Monday, just gone, so 2 days ago, and they covered the basics for committees, for new committees, as well as an introduction to the basics of what is the Guild and what other areas of the Students' Guild that you might engage with or might want to engage with, either as a student or as a committee member. Check your emails for those. If you didn't receive them, then make sure you email activities, and we'll get the links sent out to you so that you can access those sessions as whenever you can. And then we'll be able to, we're releasing new sessions every Monday, so once a week, and we'll be releasing sessions, we'll be releasing interactive sessions alongside those, so they'll be happening later on in the same week, to support those training sessions and to give you new committee members the space and the opportunity to process and to discuss what they've learned in those sessions. Without any new questions coming in right now, I'm going to hand over to the Vice President for Activities, Liv Harvey, who's going to discuss a little bit about her plans for next year from her manifesto, and have a little bit of a chat about what she hopes to achieve.
Fab, I think I'm live. So I'm Liv, the Vice President Activities, so I work really closely with the activities team, and I am obviously the VP Activities for this year, but also for next year. So I've got another manifesto which I will start working on over the summer, which is really exciting. So I thought I'd just highlight a few key points from that. So one thing I'd love to introduce is the Give It a Go initiative. So this would encourage societies and groups of people who have a similar interest to run one-off sessions for students to give something a go, whether that's a new hobby or pick up a new skill, and then they can trial those activities throughout the year without having to pay a full membership. They're a series of one-off events, so that should be really fun if we get something like that up and running. Another thing that I really want to do is reward our student leaders for the hours that they volunteer. So I've been working quite closely at the moment with Career Zone on how we can weave in the work that committee members do into the Exeter Award, and potentially get accredited training for leaders as well with an accredited body. So that's quite exciting. a few other things I'd like to implement, and this is an idea from Emily actually, the Adopt a Charity initiative. So that means that any society can choose a charity from a list of charities that we put together to fundraise for. So it's not just our charity and causes societies raising money for charity, because a lot of our societies raise money for charity, so that'll be a way of encouraging that even more. And then another thing to highlight is the how-to videos that I've been working on with the activities team at the moment. So we hopefully will have our first one to release in the next couple of weeks. So these will help guide committee members through online training. Through online training, it'll help guide them through processes, how to fill in risk assessments and that sort of thing. So hopefully we'll have a few of those released soon. Society space is another big thing that I want to work on. So I'm having a lot of conversations with the university about this at the moment, around Cornwall House and how we can open up academic teaching spaces in the evenings when sometimes they're empty and not used, to be used for society activity. And I think I definitely want a big focus on St Luke's next year too, so making sure we're encouraging all of our societies to be running events not only on Streatham campus but on St Luke's too. So that's a few snapshot points of my manifesto next year, but hopefully I'll be releasing more information over the coming weeks and months on what sort of things I'll be working on next year.
Thanks very much, Liv. So we've had another question come in. It's now been published in live Q&A section. I see lots of promoters pressure selling early bird tickets for freshers events, but how do we know these will even happen? The simple answer to that at the moment is no. We don't know if these are going to be happening or not at the moment. The Students' Guild has not released any events happening for Freshers Week at the moment. We are still working on what we are able to deliver in this time, and with the guidelines changing relatively regularly, we will keep those kind of plans reviewed as often as we possibly can. It is important to say that if you see, external promoters and things that not necessarily related to the Students' Guild or to the university promoting events such as that, is just to make members aware of them, and just make them aware that if there's anything that's not necessarily directly promoted by the Students' Guild or doesn't look like it's linked to the Students' Guild, then just be aware of it. As we know, as happened in previous years, there are some promoters and things that might take advantage of new students not knowing the landscape, not knowing the or even current students as well. So just make sure that you're keeping an eye out for those as much as you possibly can. We don't have any more questions coming in at the moment. If you do, or if you've got any follow-ups to any of the questions that have already been asked, or if you'd like me to repeat any of the answers to these questions, then please do let me know, either by replying to one of the questions that have already been published or submitting a new question. I'm happy to go over any of the answers that we've already given as well. Or anything like that. If you've got any questions about the training that's been released, or you'd like me to go over a couple of bits to do with that training, then please let me know as well, and we can go over that for you. These sessions are very much for you. They're driven by you as committee members. We're here to answer any questions that we can. So we'll do our absolute best to give you as much information as we possibly can. We've had another question come in, and that question is, how can you help us advertise our online events? There's lots of different ways that we can support you in delivering and advertising online events. There is the most obvious way is through the normal events guide on the website. So so you still have access to submit to publish events on your society page. You don't need to submit them through the activity system. What you need to do is you need to go to the events admin section of your website, of your society page, so that we can so that you can add the events directly yourself. You don't need to submit risk assessment at the moment. You don't need to submit anything to us for approval. They can just go straight up because they are just digital events. If there is any financial implication, if you need to purchase any software or anything like that to run that event, then if you've got any concerns or anything, then just drop us an email and we can support you in that. As always, our email address is activities@exeterguild.com, and we'll be able to directly support you through that. So you will still be able to submit events online. Other ways that you can advertise your events online, obviously, is through social media, and the officers, especially Liv, VP Activities will share and support societies through their social media by sharing, and things like that. We are also using the Societies in Isolation section of the website that you can use to showcase your events. You can submit those directly through the Societies in Isolation page, and we'll be able to, and they will come up on that page to showcase your events as well. That section is getting quite a lot of traffic at the moment, because it is we are supporting societies to deliver that activity even over the summer. So that section, as well as the event section and everything else, will all be up and running throughout the summer. So you can, as societies, you can submit and run events as often as you like. It is an opportunity at the moment with the situation to potentially run those events throughout the summer, when we wouldn't normally be running events like that, or when you wouldn't normally be running activity, just because this situation has broken down those barriers and allowed people to engage with their members throughout this whole period. On that, just going back to the question about how to engage members and things, we can go through that in a little bit. There's areas such as the your online message center that you can send emails directly to your members through there. There is also areas of social media again and things like that you can use to promote your society as well, and we'll be talking through those in a little bit as well. So now what you'll be able to see is the Guild website, and we're going to show you just the events section, the events admin of the website. So as you can see on the account section on your right hand side, you go down and click on the name of your society, and it takes you to your admin area. Hopefully all of you have seen this section of the admin area at some point. If you go into there and then you click onto the events tab, you click into there and you can add your events directly onto here. So you click the big button that says add new event, and then you submit the event details. That will then automatically, once you've completed that form, will automatically show the event on your society page. So if you head to your society page and you find that your society's website, then it will show the event down on the right hand side of your page. As you can see on here, it says next event. At the moment there's no information available because there aren't any events, but in a normal circumstance it will show you in the next event. It will also show you in the what's on section of the website. So this is where all society and other events come together. So there will be a list of events. Obviously at the moment we have some events that may have been cancelled, that haven't necessarily been taken off the system, unfortunately, but that will be updated anyway. So anything that you do update for your society will then go into that that section of the website as well, and is a really good way to promote your society's events, both through your society page and through the What's On section of the website as well. So we don't have any other questions at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop off for just a minute. If you've been part of this event, if you've been in this event from the beginning, I want to thank you for coming in and joining in by asking questions. It's really useful for us as well to get a sense of the kind of things that societies and committee members are thinking about at the moment, you know, what your concerns are and things like that, so that we can ensure that we prioritise the information that we need to make sure that it goes out and you get the information that you need to support as much of your activity as possible. So I want to thank you for engaging. This recording will be available after the event as a link. And so we'll be able to download and re-watch this session to get those answers again, and we'll also do our best to try and write some quick answers in reply to the questions that have been submitted as well. But I want to thank you for being part of this event, and if anyone new's just come in, then please submit your questions, and we'll be back very shortly.